The war between Sylvester Stallone's Dwight Manfredi and Robert Patrick's Jeremiah Dunmire has come to a fiery end in Tulsa King Season 3, and one star was quite surprised to learn how it would end. Dunmire came into view as the key antagonist for the latest season of the Taylor Sheridan series when Dwight learned from Garrett Hedlund's Mitch that a local distiller was looking to sell their family business off amid threats from Patrick's character. Dwight, with his smooth talking and large resources, successfully outbid Dunmire for the distillery, putting a target on his and his crew's backs, with Jeremiah sending his son Cole to frequently torment and try and disrupt their efforts to start it anew. Despite his control in the area, though, Dunmire's power began to wane in Tulsa King Season 3 as Manfredi continued to convince those under Jeremiah's thumb to his side, leading to his crew kidnapping Annabelle Ciora's Joanne and setting up a tense finale. In honor of the episode's airing, Screen Rant's Grant Hermans interviewed Robert Patrick to discuss the Tulsa King Season 3 finale. The star opened up about saying goodbye to his villainous character, including how he didn't learn about his character's fate until well into filming, and going toe-to-toe with Annabelle Ciora for some of Dunmire's more vulnerable moments. Stallone gave Patrick a unique note that made his death scene all the more impactful. After much of Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 10, Jesus Lizard, saw Patrick's Jeremiah Dunmire having mental games of chess with Joanne, things get explosive when Dwight and his crew conduct an assault on the Dunmire estate to save her. After successfully avoiding some of the gunfire and just narrowly missing a chance to shoot Dwight, Jeremiah and Manfredi find themselves in a hand-to-hand brawl near the former's distillery equipment. Despite getting some good hits in, Manfredi would ultimately win the fight, dragging Dunmire out to a nearby hook and hanging him up above a bonfire pit. Chastising Dwight and attempting to take the high road on him, Jeremiah's fate becomes sealed when Manfredi sets him on fire, bringing his arc full circle as he dies the way he killed Theodore Montague at the start of the season. Looking back on this demise, Patrick explains that while there was so much consideration given for that sequence, he didn't put too much thought into it before shooting. The reason for this, he explained, was a desire to get into the environment and see what was going to happen rather than putting too much preparation into the scene to the point of not being flexible. From an actor's point of view, I was trying to just let it happen and see how I thought I would react to finding out what was going to happen to me, and the reality hit me, Patrick shared. I would find that out in the situation as we were doing it, so I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. The star also went on to reveal that his fate was not decided from the start of the season, with Stallone having a conversation with Patrick at some point while filming Tulsa King Season 3 that he was really trying to come up with a great way to kill you, which Patrick was also pondering the possibilities of. However, when he learned Dunmire was going to be burned alive, he immediately had the thought, FK, what a way to go. The more he thought about it, the more Jeremiah's death scene made sense to Patrick, given his character burned his best friend, Montague, in a very similar fashion, while also having stood there and watched his house go down, much in the way Stallone's Manfredi does in the ending. Patrick even pointed to an early clue of Dunmire's eventual death from earlier in the season, which he didn't think about until after his fate was decided. For the actual shooting of the Tulsa King Season 3 ending scene, Patrick shared that it was funny and that he and the crew were having a ball doing it. He did go on to praise Stallone for the intensity he brought to the scene when he came into being part of its filming, particularly given it was late at night during the shoot, and yet he came in with that monologue and was on it. Patrick even recalled Stallone, with whom he previously worked on James Mangold's Cop Land and the action thriller I See You, giving him a suggestion going into the filming of his death scene to be defiant in his performance. This came as something of a flip from how Patrick initially envisioned playing the scene, with a part of me having even thought about screaming out for mommy. I thought that would be interesting, all of a sudden, Jeremiah screaming for his mother, Patrick described. That's crazy, but it could be real. No one knows how anybody's going to react. But Sly suggested defiance, and I liked that. Once I went into that, I agreed with him and went for it. With Dunmire's death scene suddenly becoming more of a mano-a-mano conversation between him and Manfredi, with the latter even ominously telling his enemy, I'm gonna light you on fire, let's see how you react to it, Patrick agreed that was the way to go. He even got the opportunity to change up his approach a touch in the ADR process, in which I did add a couple of different screams, and being happy with the one they chose. Patrick loved exploring the vulnerability of Dunmire near the end of Tulsa King Season 3. Screen Rant, we last spoke just before the love ride. How was that, by the way? There's a lot to unpack with this Tulsa King finale, so I want to dive right in. One of my favorite scenes in the episode is the dinner scene Jeremiah has with Joanne, because there's a great game of mental chess going on. She mentions Jeremiah having regrets, which causes that explosion of anger. We know he's got this sadness about his wife and son, but But do you think there are any other regrets he's holding on to? Robert Patrick: yeah, and I think they are all coming to a head. It's not like I can give you exactly what they are, they're all kind of unexplained. I think multiple things that have happened to him throughout the years, the loss of his son, and whatever happened to his wife among them. He's obviously very disappointed in himself. At this point near the end, he's realizing that he's losing his grip on his son. I think he was raised a certain way. The environment he came from must have been incredibly brutal, and that was passed down, so he's been using those tactics raising his own sons. And I think he's coming to the realization that his old ways are dying out, and he's confused by it. He's losing his footing. He's losing his grip on his son, he's losing his grip on reality. It's just all starting to go. Those scenes are with Annabella were vulnerable because he really opens up to her. He admits that, I've never beat a woman. I had ad-libbed a line where I said, but my daddy did, and they cut that. But I thought it was good. Tous not I there, but I wanted the idea to be that maybe my father had been brutal with my mother, and there was a level of brutality that I wasn't willing to go to. It ties into the disappointment my wife would have in me and all that. It's a very strange scene, but I loved those scenes with Annabella. We were in Copland together, and we didn't have a chance to be on screen together and work together. Working with an actress of her caliber is just great because she's so wonderful. We were having that dinner sequence, and I